Uh, Leslie, you're on mute. Your lips are moving.
Can we have John turn his camera on, please?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
yes,
what I'm trying
John.
to do. Okay, there we go.
There you go. All right. Success.
Thank you.
Success. All right. So good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, April 26th. The time is 7:08 p.m. This is the Michigan Notary Network weekly call, Wednesday night call. And today, the much anticipated, much advertised on our Facebook page, we are joined today by the John C. Nelson, who is an apostille guru. Like, he's got a training course. He's got many years of experience and knowledge. So he has generously agreed to speak to us today about the apostille business, how we can use that to enhance our notary business. You know, it's not or maybe you don't know, it is not a notarial act. Apostilles are a separate, an additional service that we can perform as notaries. So, John, thank you so much for joining us, and please talk to us. Do you have a presentation? I don't know if you have a presentation or any slides that you want to share.
No, I was just really shoot from the hip, so to speak, and have myself sort of open for questions, because these type of meetings are meant to be informative, and sometimes people have many questions. And I wish I knew this, and I wish I knew that, and they don't have the opportunity. So I will give you just a highlight. Let me tell you first of all that if you've gone to our website, you understand how we even started. We started because I wanted to do this years ago, almost 14 years ago, and I couldn't find help anywhere at all. And so I really got angry, and I decided to do something about it. So it took about 2 years, but we were the first online apostille training course in the US. There was no one before us. We put it together, and we have tested what we do. We've tested out our curriculum, our response. We know where students are most weak, what they need to have, and things like that. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of background so that you understand. And everything that we have done has been done with the notary in mind. We made a change back in 1921. We only certify notary publics now, even though we had to differentiate, because anyone can actually do the process, as you are aware of, because it does not require any type of legal title or things like that. But we also understand that it doesn't make sense for anyone to do this who is not a notary. And let me say this, I'm glad that you are here. This is why. Most likely you have given business to other people because you didn't know what to do with apostilles. You've either done that or you've made a lot of mistakes trying to do apostilles. It's one or the other. I'm going to address the other first, because Deborah mentioned that one of the things that's important as to be a successful notary public, you must have multiple income streams. Don't ever focus just on one thing. I mean, you can do that, but if it's a steady business, but if it's anything that goes up and down, you can see the danger in that. So multiple income streams really is a big thing for notaries, and we highly encourage that. The apostille, and I'm going to talk to you as if you were already some of my students. We don't use the word apostille, we use the word legalization, because legalizations consist of two types of documents, an apostille and an authentication. And some of you may be aware of that, but one of the things we in our school, we say, if you're going to be a professional, you need to have the professional language. You need to understand the correct use of terms. because we, not only that, some of our grads run into this problem dealing with people from other countries because they throw terms around as if they're pennies. No, they're saying one thing and they mean something else, and it ends up generating a lot of confusion. But anyway, this is a business. If you are a notary, you should definitely be involved in it. It's no question about that. You don't need to panic. It is not, let me say this, unfortunately, there are a lot of, you can do this in 20 minutes on the web. Don't buy that. I've been doing this for 14 years and I'm still learning. Some of us who've been doing this for a long time still conference with each other because it's not a 20-minute deal. That is so unfair. It really grieves my heart when I see stuff like that because it's just not right. Notaries have to work too hard to be taken advantage of. But I would encourage you to definitely add this to your income stream. It is a natural. Here's why it's a natural. Probably 90%, 80 to 90% of the time when people are looking to have legalizations executed, you know, the first person they call is a notary. They look for a notary. So, and the reasons why a lot of notaries do not get more calls for this is because they don't market themselves that way. If you're most likely you're marketing yourself either as what? A signing agent, right? Or you're marketing yourself as a general notary, and so you're not going to show up. You'll be surprised how much business you're giving away, and how much business you're giving to other people, and how much business you are missing out on simply because you're not marketing yourself properly. And by the way, I'm going to apologize for the warping of who I am. I usually use a green screen, but with all the confusion I had going on here, I didn't have time to put up the green screen, so it's a virtual green screen. So I'm going to look like the man from Mars from time to time with half a head. So I just want to make
That's
you aware
okay. We got you.
Okay. Of what's taking place here. So our course, I'll talk about it, and then I'll give you a few things to get you started here. We have found that methodology is everything. How you plan something and how you structure something is of utmost importance in determining the outcome that you're going to get. So with that in mind, we decided to train notaries in that way. Here's the biggest fear we get. I don't know what I'm going to do, or I don't know what I'm going to ask next. And I said, what did we teach you to do in the training? By the way, I'm going to let this group in on a secret that you don't know. Our training is based upon your being had. You know what I mean by your being had? That means that someone has programmed you to think a certain way you don't even know it. Okay.
Okay.
That's what our training does. We teach you in a certain way through building blocks that when you finish stage one, you automatically know stage two, and you automatically know stage three. You don't have to worry. My biggest challenge is getting the students to actually go out and do it. I tell them, when you sign up for the training, once you get into it, start trying. If push get to shove, I'm here, because we believe in student support, by the way, to try to help you work your way through this. But anyway, let me give you a brief history on legalization in case you aren't aware of it. Sending documents to foreign countries used to be quite a big thing and quite an expensive thing and quite time consuming, mainly because every country had its own set of rules and their own set of legal hurdles that you would have to go through. So you can imagine what this took. And most of the time, you had to have lawyers on both ends, which was even more expensive and more time consuming. So on October 5th, 1961, countries got together in Hague, and you may call it Hague, you may call it Hague, depends upon how you pronounce it, to determine how can we resolve this and make it better. So there are many Hague conventions, but when we talk about it in legalization, we're only concerned with the October 5th, 1961 convention that dealt with the legalization of documents. And what the group of nations that came together, they all signed an agreement saying, if you belong to this particular convention and a document comes from your country that has the legalization of an apostille, we will automatically accept it without any further legalization. Now, that was a big deal. And so that's why it's called an apostille, because that's a term of the Hague Convention. Now, as I said in my opening statement, all legalizations are not apostilles. Well, let me explain what I mean by that, because you need to know how to, whether you take my course or not, there's certain things you need to know. I don't want people to say, what are they talking about? A document that is going to go to a non-Hague country is usually referred to as an authentication. If you are already sending documents through the U.S. Department of State, you are aware of this. I hope you are aware of this, because they both come back with a buff-colored top. But if you read that buff-colored top, only one says apostille. The other is an authentication. That is because the U.S. Department of State cannot and will not issue an apostille to a non-Hague Convention country. They can't, because that country does not belong. Now, if I lose anyone here, like I said, that's why I'm doing like from the hip. I want you to ask questions. Deborah, do you have the raise hand, or I'll just have to wait for them to say something? What do you have, so I'll know?
They can raise their hand. They can also put their question in the chat, and then we'll let you know when there's questions in the chat.
Yeah, let me know in the chat, because I found when I'm talking, I don't even see stuff flash on the chat. But if you do have questions that come up, by all means, and Deborah, you have permission to interrupt me. I can't give it to everybody. Okay.
I love power.
You just jump right in and say, John, and I'll stop talking.
Okay.
I know you do. Okay. Oh my goodness. But the process of executing this process is called legalization. I want you to get that down. Apostilles only apply to countries belonging to the Hague Convention. Now, as you know, usually with every rule, there are exceptions. And we have those exceptions that we teach in class, and we have a way to reference them also. There are countries who have decided not to join the Hague Convention of October 5th, 1961, but they like those rules that they have. So these particular countries who have not joined the Hague Convention are called contracting states. If you ever hear that, you'll hear that among people who know what they're talking about. But they are not Hague members, but they're contracting. And by the way, you will hear the word state and country equated when you talk about legalizations, okay? Like we say the US is a country, and Russia is a country, and Spain is a country, but in legalization terms, they're also referenced as states. I don't know if you knew that or not. So I don't want that to throw you into thinking that it's just like the United States. No, the terms are interchangeable and they're synonymous. They mean the same thing. Well, anyway, when this, so how this is dealt with, in that they are contracting with the Hague Convention, they can be treated just like a Hague Convention country. A lot of people are not aware of that. But there are several exceptions, and each of these exceptions differ. If you don't mind, Deborah, I have to throw in a little sales pitch here on this, because this is such a huge tool. No one has a tool to deal with this except us. Okay, and I'm going to tell you what it does, and then I'll come back to where we are, and I think you'll understand why taking time to do this. Your biggest challenge as an apostille agent is, how do I handle non-hate countries? Because I just shared with you earlier, each of them are different. They have their different rules, they have different requirements and things like that. Basically, that's why you see a lot of, I'm going to switch gears with it. You have to excuse me because that's the way my brain works, a million miles a minute. But that's why you see so many pop up, you can do it in 20 minutes, okay? Because the simple apostille is not difficult. You all know that, right? You probably have done it. What do? You get it?
Yep.
You run it, and that's it. It's a boom, boom, boom. It's not that simple when it comes to federal documents or when it comes to non-hate country documents. It's a whole different ballgame. And let me point this out to you too. When you learn this skill, don't be surprised. A lot of people are going to try to pick your brain for free because the knowledge is not out there. And you'll be able to tell by a phone call whether this is truly a client who needs your services or a competitor who's trying to find out what you do because they don't know what to do. I'm sharing all this stuff. This is what I've run into over the past 14 years. So I'm just giving you a heads up. If you decide to get proficient in this, those are one of the things that you're really going to have to deal with. Now, let's get back to where we are. I'll tell you about the app. The app that we have designed, there are, by the way, and I'm almost finished with a video we're going to put up. There are 201 countries in the world. Anyone who tells you they know exactly which ones are Hague and which ones are not, I asked them, are they also selling the Brooklyn Bridge? Okay, because no one knows them all. You can know to a great degree what they are, but the app that we've developed lets you know immediately. Our app is designed, you open it up on your laptop and you get somebody's on the phone or you're at your desk, everything is there. All of the non-Hague countries are listed. You know by looking at the list immediately, visually, whether it's Hague or non-Hague. If it's what I should have done, Deborah, but this is not about what I told you I was going to do, so I wasn't going to be presumptive. But what I should have done, should have had that. So I could have opened it, and show them, but it's not going to mean anything because they aren't doing it yet. You know?
I do have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. Okay, so the Hague countries can join and drop off. So it might be, let's say, 150 countries that subscribe to the Hague Convention today, but tomorrow it could be 160, and then next month it could be 145, right? Like they can decide to come and go.
It mostly goes the other way. You mostly have countries that are not Hague because there's a lot of advantages to being Hague.
Okay.
That are becoming Hague. To show you the impact of this and how some countries have had to deal with it, one of the most recent changes that takes place, and by the way, these changes that I'm telling you about right now, unless you dig them up on your own, you're not going to know them. And we have updated databases on this, by the way, in the app. You can always check and see what's going on. I'm going to share this particular one with you. For example, documents going to the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and you can't make a mistake there, by the way. Their legalization fee for commercial documents is $544.59. And the website says non-refundable. So if you feel like experimenting, go ahead. You got a few $1,000s that you want to experiment with, that's fine. But one of the changes they have made with this, because this has became an issue for a lot of countries, especially during the time of COVID, even though they are a non-Hague country, what they have said was, well, for commercial documents, because that's money and revenue for the country, we're going to accept the apostille. That was unheard of before. You with me? And other non-Hague countries have now made some of those adjustments to try to deal with this. Because, for example, before COVID, with my agents, I was able to process a federal document roughly in about 10 days. That is now 3 months. So if you can imagine, all of the trade in the world now gets slowed down to this new timetable, you can see what happens. Registrations aren't met. The regular documents for countries where you can sell things there, they get late. It's a great big mess. So now countries are really scrambling, trying to find out, okay, how can we fix this? We don't have time to go through this joining the Hague Convention. So I think you're going to see a lot more of those exceptions taking place. But to get back to what you were saying, Deborah, there's a lot more advantages going to Hague for your country than going the other way. Okay, because then everybody is on the same page. You don't have to be so concerned about the audit trail of the document you're getting, because it's already passed the scrutiny of the sending country. Does that kind of address what you're
absolutely
saying?
makes sense. That absolutely
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
And that was
Let me
something that I
take-
did not know. So that was
Okay.
enlightening.
Okay, let me take a breather. Does anyone have a question before I move on? I can pump you full of stuff now, but I want you to absorb what I'm trying to share with you too. Any questions?
I have another question. You keep mentioning
Sure.
the app. I know what it is, but for the benefit of everyone on the call and those that will watch the video later, is the app a phone app, or is it something that you log into? Like, what is the app exactly?
Okay. We were investigating it being a web app, but it's almost impossible to protect proprietary information. And it's almost impossible to prevent illegal sharing. So our app is an app that's written in Visual Basic. It's designed to run on a PC. It will not run on an Apple. Well, we're going to have to pay someone a few $1,000s to rewrite the code in Apple. But it's designed to run on a PC that has either Excel or Office 365. Those are the requirements. Otherwise than that, the app will not work for you. The app is not designed to work on your phone because it requires way too much memory. The program itself is about 4 megabytes. That's a pretty good size for a 4 megabyte. And then we tell purchasers or subscribers to try to have at least 5 gigs of memory, because, and let me explain why. For this to work efficiently and fast, like when you got somebody on the phone, it has to have access to memory. So you can go to this and grab this and go to this and grab that and have it there. So if you have like 5 gig of memory, you should be okay. If you got more than that, that's fine. But that's one of the reasons that it won't work on the phone. Another reason is this. Anyone can download the app, by the way. It's on our website. It costs nothing to download it, but it's a trial version. You can open it and look at it for 10 days. After 10 days, you have to have a key from us, or you can't get it in and open it anymore. So if everybody just wants to look at it, that's fine. Just go and download it, follow the instructions. Let me point out that you will get warnings because we are not in the Microsoft Store. And anything that's not in the Microsoft Store, they send warnings. But by the way, one of the things that I've been waiting on, I finally got the new one, is my digital signature for coding. I just got it prior to this meeting. We had one before and we let the expiration and didn't order the new one in time. The coding, the code signature means that you're protected, that no one has intercepted or done anything with the application since the developer, which is myself, has written it for you. But if you have some of the high-powered tablets, should be able to run it. we suggest laptop. That's basically how I use it. Because if I'm going to a customer, it's right there with me. I can open it up. I'm in a laptop and do what's needed. If I'm traveling, if I'm waiting in a room, I need that access for that information. Does that answer?
It makes sense. You originally you said the app was 4 megs. Did you mean 4 gigs? Because 4 megs is kind of little. Is it 4 gigs or?
For an application standalone, that's good for an application. It's not 4 gigs. The size
Okay,
itself.
it's 4 meg. Okay. Okay.
It only has about roughly 300 lines of code.
Okay.
In there.
Okay. Okay. There are some more questions. So, what is the name of the app?
Okay, we call the app the Super Genesis 23-117. The reason that we do that, so you know, where'd you get that name from? Genesis is the first in its generation. Super because of its capabilities. We started with 111, so there's been that many advances, and that's why we went to a subscription. You had 117 now, because it got crazy to keep everybody together. With the subscription, everybody's on the same platform. They get all the same advances at the same time, all the updates on the database at the same time. And it just became a nightmare because we had some people that had one version that did not have the automatic updated databases and stuff like that. So that's what it's called.
Okay. And then after the 10 days, do we have to pay after 10 days to gain access?
All right. After it's $50 a year. Well, let me explain to you what the people are paying who purchased it before the subscription. Because everybody wanted to have the updates on the databases. So we manufactured the app with a $30 annual fee. They can stop that at any time. They still have the app, but they no longer have the updated databases. Okay. That's no longer true. Now it's $50 per year, and that includes all the app changes as well as the database changes. So I know panic time sits in your mind. What happens if I don't want to do it the next year? We have thought of that. The subscription application has a very reliable and rock solid. You can't blow it up, even if you try. Backup. So you can always, like you said, I'm not going to do this anymore next year, but I want to keep my data. Okay, your data is backed up to a regular Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't see why you would do that, but I have to let people know. People say, why do you tell people that that's a loophole? Well, I would want somebody to let me know if that were the case. Yes, Leslie? Oh, I saw your hand going. Okay, like that. I was a question there. Okay, Deborah, is there another question before I move on? Or
no, I ran out to your website and I just pasted the link to the page where your app is. So you can continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what I could do, if we get to a point where I have the opportunity, I'll just open it up and let you see in live what it really
All
looks
right.
like.
Can you talk about your school, and then if there's let's talk about that.
Yeah, here's what we're doing in the school. I can say this with confidence: you will not find as much information as we provide anywhere. I'm positive about that. Your training manual consists of 65 pages. And it's not 65 pages of and maybe, and no. It's 65 pages of chunky stuff, okay? And I say that sincerely. Now, we have divided the training into, I've got to get a habit of looking at the calendar. I keep looking at your faces because your faces are here. You know what I'm going to do? I am going
That's okay. Just keep going. We're good.
Move you under the camera and see. No, I can't. I was going to move you right under the camera. The training is divided into 6 basic modules. Okay. At the end of each module, there is a quiz. Now, the quiz are not required to get our certification. The purpose of the quiz is for you to test yourself to see how well you have retained the information. Each quiz can be taken 3 times. You know, it depends upon you. If you're satisfied with what you've done, you still have 2 times you can take it again. Okay. Now, and we have we work through a paid testing platform. So you know immediately when you finish your test, not only whether you have passed or not passed, but what you missed and why. Our purpose is not to, excuse me, embarrass or make you feel stupid. Our purpose is to let you know, well, this is what you missed. This is not what you got. So go back and look at it. You just finished that section. Go back and review that section, okay? So there are 6 modules throughout the training. Also, at the end of each module, there is a brief, usually, and I'm about to update those, audio, a WAV file. Every computer reads a WAV file. And the reason for the WAV file is that even though some people see and read, they need to hear. So we have that there to hear for people who need that reinforcement. And I'm going to stop right there because I am so disappointed in most of my students on this next one. We provide, at no additional cost, and my time, 3 Zoom sessions. Let me say this, 95% of the phone calls I get during the mentoring after certification, guess who they're from? People who didn't
don't
Zoom session. Okay, they thought they had it. And I'm saying that because we have Zoom 100, 200, 300. They cover different portions of the, introductory where you are, where you should be at midstream. And now you get to Zoom 300, you need to know, how do I set my pricing? What type of marketing I'm going to do and stuff like that. In other words, when you get out the door, we want to feel that you're ready to cut it short. Well, let me go back to where we are. So
let me ask you one question before you keep going. Is the training all self-paced, or is it instructor-led, or is it a mix of both? Like, how are the classes structured?
Yes, that's a good question, because a lot of people didn't understand why we did it this way instead of the current trend. There's nothing wrong with the video lecture. Please don't get me wrong. But we have found that doesn't work best for us. Here is why. We depend on that student having the ability to ask questions directly. You can't ask a lecturer what to do. You can't tell a lecturer, I didn't understand that, unless it's a live training session. But that's why we have the Zooms. The Zooms are done in small groups. We try to keep the groups small, and they usually run an hour and a half. Anything that you don't know, anything that's confusing, anything that you need more details on, you have the opportunity to do it. That's why we don't do webinars. Webinars have too many people. And with that many people in a huge webinar, if you get one question in, consider yourself lucky. But in a small group setting, Zooms, that's met. So you can now see how a package ties together. For those who love to read and can read, and by the way, now the studies can be read on any device. It doesn't have to be on your computer. It can be read on your cell phone, in the subway, in a tablet, in the doctor's office, or on your PC, because it is web-based, okay? The only way that we found that can be pirated is you have to give somebody your password and your email. Very few people want to give their email to anybody because that can be the beginning of a lot of trouble. So that has worked out to be pretty safe along that line. Let me see here. I'm jumping so many places. I'm
still not quite sure. So are you saying that, so there's a 65-page booklet that we can read at our own pace? But
the pace. I'm sorry, Deborah.
Yes.
Okay. It is designed for you to progress at your own pace with certain restrictions. I'll tell you what the restrictions are, and I'll tell you why we had to put them in place. The restrictions are this. Okay. In the test, I've talked about the 6 quizzes, and I've talked about the audio files. There are 2 major exams that we require. There's test A and test B. Test A simply just is a test on your retention of the information. And by the way, we do not have trick questions. We don't have questions that are misleading. You will not be tested on anything that you are not taught. That's my promise. If you find something there said this is news to me, like I get ticked off every time I have to take the California notary exam because they got stuff on there I've never seen. And I ask other people, they've never seen it either. We don't know. We don't know where it is a very hard exam. We don't know where it comes from. But test A must be taken within 90 days. Okay. Test B is a test of your ability to apply what you've learned. I don't know, no one else does it that way. We're the only school that I'm aware of that does it that way. Test B, you can take up to 9 months. Why 9 months and why 90 days? Well, I'll go to the 9 months first. We recognize that there's this thing called life. You could get sick. You could go through a divorce. You could lose your job. A lot of stuff could happen. It's really going to cause you to have this stretched out, okay? So that's why we allow the 9 months. Now, let me point this out. If you miss the 90-day, there's a fee to get reinstated. That's put on the website up front. That's not a surprise. By the way, you'll learn John does not like surprises. I hate surprises, good or bad. I want to know what's going on. I do not like surprises. My family never surprises me with anything because they know I just don't care for them. The reason for that's the reason for the 9 months. No one, I think we've had maybe 2 people in 14 years that took it just before the 9-month expiration date. We set 90 days because we have to know that you're serious about what you do. Excuse me, why would you pay this much money for this type of training and decide just to treat it like an old rotten shoe? That doesn't make sense. And number one, the information is done on, like I told, a building module. You need to be consistent and flow through. Here's what we tell our students. If you operate your business and your questioning with your clients the way that we have taught you, you will not have a problem. However, if you decide I'm going to skip this and I'm going to jump there and come back, you will have a problem. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to miss something in the step. And if you had followed the steps that we gave you, okay, you would be okay. So that's why we have the 90 days. And that's why we have the 9 months. To be honest with you, people who have been doing this for years, who have never been trained, most of them take test A within 3 weeks. They take test B within a month. Now I have to tell you this. We've had people, I had one guy that called me and he said, I don't want to take your test. I don't want your course. I said, well, why are you calling me? He said, I don't have any choice because my competitors have taken your course, is what he said. And they can use your certified seal. So I said, I totally understand. So guess what? He signed up for the course. And for some reason, he thought it probably was a joke. He tried test A in 2 weeks and flunked it. Okay. That got his attention.
Okay.
And so he prepared and he got test A again. So he decided he would take test B and he flunked it too. And so then he decided, okay, this is serious. I don't know everything like I thought, that I thought that I did. So that's why we have it, what we're doing. First is your knowledge. We're going to build in the knowledge so that you know what you're doing, you know how to do it. And
Yep.
then when you're about ready to graduate or get your certification, you will know how to apply it. Because Test B is basically case studies, and we give you situations. What do you do here? What don't you do there? And don't freak out now. Test A, and people say we're too lenient here. I don't think we are. We give you 3 opportunities. Okay. A lot of people take 2, very seldom does someone take 3. If you don't take 3, we tell you need to start over, because either this is not for you or you're not willing to spend the time to master it.
Yep.
And here's the reason we do that. If you look on the website, you'll see what we have is called a certified apostille agent seal. You've seen that. If you look in the lower right corner, you'll see SM. In the state of California, that means service mark. It took us almost a year or 2 to get the state to allow us to even put that on the website. And they let us put it there as a trial, just to see if this really, are we going to get flack about this? So we protect that with the vineyards. We don't want anyone out there without certified apostille agent seal who does not know what they're doing, who are not professional. You'll probably notice on the website, we have a code of conduct, and we're serious about that. If you violate that code of conduct, we will recall your seal, and you will not get it back.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I'm a meanie here, I know, but
No, that makes perfect sense. And just as if you're a notary and you fail to do what you're supposed to do, you can get your license revoked. So that makes 100%.
in California,
sure.
you go to jail. So.
Yeah. So I have a couple of more questions. We only have about 10 more minutes left. One question, real quick, in the chat. Does the $298 training fee include the 2 major tests, and is the manual hard copy, or is it downloadable on the computer? And what else is included in the fee? So if you can answer that real quick, because then I have another
That's
question.
a good one for us. What we were at one time allowing hard copies, and guess what? Hard
People
copies
took your stuff.
popping up everywhere. So we make sure that everyone knows it's copyrighted, and we put it up there in front. And if I catch you, I will prosecute you. It took a long time to develop this. I'll let everybody know that up front. We do not look kindly upon our information that's printed on. It cannot be legally stored on any type of hardware or software or printed, and there's a reason for that. And number 2 is it's unfair to you. Why should somebody get something for free that you've paid $298 for? There's something wrong with that. It's like people saying, I'm going to steal for you because you got money. Well, I earned the money. What did you do? You're just going to, you know what I'm saying? But let's get back to what it includes.
The next question. Well, what's included? And then the next question is, do you have installment payments? So if you can answer those 2.
I had installment payments and nearly lost my shirt.
Okay.
We don't do it anymore.
Okay.
People signed up, got all my stuff, never finished paying. So, and by the way, I was sort of foolish. Instead of using a third party to handle installments, I trusted people. My wife said that's my tragic flaw, and it's probably true. Somebody signed up. I thought they were going to do what they said they were going to do. So we got out of that completely. We do have group rates, by the way. It starts at 3. The group rates from 3 to 9, 10 to 15, and 16 plus. And we have discounts for groups that sign up that way.
All right, let's hear about that, because we got a nice size group here. So if we got, what was the first one, 3 or 6?
Yeah, from 3 to 9, we give you a $10 discount. From 10 to 15, a $15 discount. And from 16 plus a $24 discount. That's pretty steep for what we get. So that I want you to know that's there. But the group has to sign up within a certain time frame. You can't say I'm a member of the group from 1921. No. There's a specific time where the groups have to do this. But okay, the $298 covers everything. You test. There's nothing that's required of you, an additional, unless you let your 90-day expire, okay, or your 9-month expire.
Okay.
There are no other costs involved in that. To help our students, which is what we've done, when you buy the Manning and training material, you have unlimited access to it for a year.
Okay.
You can log on at any time. And because of requests from our graduates, we do have a program, but it's only for graduates and no one else. There's a one-time fee that you have lifetime. And lifetime means, so you understand, until I die or sell the company I can't control from the grave. But
Right.
but that's what we do. You know, you have
Okay.
within a year. Hopefully, people use that because there are a
Yeah.
lot of resources in the training manual. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Deborah.
That makes sense. Okay, so let's, in the last 6 minutes, tell us how much money can apostille, when we do apostilles, is it $100? Like, do you charge more? Can notaries charge more if they're doing the legalization versus the apostille? Like, wet our whistle, get us excited about how we make money doing apostilles. Like, throw some numbers.
Yeah, no, that's a very good question, and that's going to vary from state to state. Here are the things that control your retail. We cover this in Zoom 300. The first thing that's going to control your rate is it a Hague or non-Hague country? The next thing is going to control your rate as that, do you reside in a city where the Secretary of State or regional Secretary of State offices is, or you have to use a courier? That's the second part that controls that. The third is what type of extra services are you providing? Where we are, I am probably one of the highest retail persons there is. And I don't modify my prices. When people call me, I said, my prices, unlike most agents, is posted. You never have to worry about somebody getting a better price than you did. People never think this. If I bargain with you, how do you know I don't bargain better with the next person? You with me?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. But if you are solid and you concrete, people understand that and they will respect that also. Okay. What was I telling you? I'm sorry, Deborah. I was answering.
I was asking how much could do people
how much?
charge?
Okay. Here's what I suggest. I'm from a retail background. Deborah knows I was a region category sales planner for Kraft Foods. So it's a lot of retail in my head. That's what I use. I believe in calculating retail's profit on selling price, not just other percentage and markup. That's a bunch of crap because it doesn't tell you how much money you're putting in the bank. Okay. So I tell the average student, as a rule of thumb, make at least 60% on selling price. Let me explain what that means. That means you take all of your costs. I'm trying to do this without a whiteboard. Okay, you got all of your costs of your. The easiest way is for you to guess first what you think your retail wants to be. That's the easiest way to do it. So you imagine a fraction, and this is covered in detail in Zoom 3. On the top of that fraction of your costs, okay? On the bottom of what you think you should charge. Now listen carefully, because everybody always wanted to do it the other way around. Divide the denominator into the numerator. You're going to get a number less than 1, yes. Okay, because the bottom is your retail, the top is your cost. Take that and subtract it from 1 and use the absolute value. You know what the absolute value means, right? Strip the signs away. That's all it means. If it's a minus number, forget that it's a minus. That tells you your profit on selling price. And 60% I think is a good return. And here's why I use profit on selling price. You know what 60% tells you on profit on selling price? And then I think you're going to do everything from this point in that same way. That tells you that every dollar that you get, 60 cents is profit. Now you can calculate on that. You follow what I'm saying? You can plan on that. You can set goals. You can, one of the things we do in marketing is tell people how to set goals and how to project revenue. You can't do that doing markups and all this other weird stuff that I see people trying to use. But if you use profit on selling price, those are the actual dollars that you're going to put in the bank. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
okay. Now, for example, my processing runs this. I offer a specific service that people love in Orange County because everyone's busy and LA is too far to drive for most people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My regular retail that I get for a regular apostille pickup and delivery for a Hague country is $229. Okay.
Is that per document? So if I had 4 documents.
No. That is, here's what I do. And I would say, excuse me, I just had to go to the doctor. I have this postnasal drip, and I'm sorry. I have to cough when it hits me. $229 for the first document,
Mm-hmm.
$100 for the second, and $85 for the third and each additional. I have to get them all at the same time. Okay. Excuse me. My non-Hague price starts at $312, plus the fees that I charge for embassy and the fees that have to be paid for embassy legalization.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something that I have not done with any of these interviews that I have not done. And by the way, the picture you see on there is not me. It's a model. And I have given credit to the photographer. Okay. So my website is mobile, MOBILE, California, apostille.com.
Right. And you want us to look at that? Hold on, let me put that in the chat. Hold on.
That's what you see there is what I do. Now, I understand in this business, everyone is an independent business person, and you will figure out what works best for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you will design. Now, let me tell you something, like I tell people in the first meeting, if you don't have a website, you got to get one. That's not optional in this business, because when you do search ads, that's the first place people are going to look.
Can you give me your website again? Mobile Apostille?
No, mobile, MOBILE, California. California has to be spelled right out.
California.
Apostille with 2 L's. Most people want to put one. .com.
Okay.
And so you'll see what I do.
Okay.
I have designed and developed that. Depends. And when you look at mine, you can kind of see, well, okay, I kind of see where John's going here. I can kind of understand why he charges this and why that changes here. Clients look at my pricing, there are no surprises. Like I told you, I don't like surprises. So when they call me and say they want me to come, they kind of know in advance what the fees are going to be. A non-Hague requires some more explanation. When you look at my price list, you'll see that, because I have the embassy stuff separated and put in a specific spot. Does that answer that?
It does. The question in the chat was, does your price include the shipping, or is that like on top of?
Okay, let me say this to you, whether you join my school or not. To the best of my knowledge, you are not a charity. If you don't charge for everything, something's wrong. I either have it built into my retail, it depends upon what it is, or my clients know it's an add-on. The only thing that I do, okay, and I'm gonna give you one of my secrets. Hopefully you'll be one of my students, but I'm gonna give you a secret.
I'm joining. I'm taking your class. Don't worry.
Here's one of my secrets. I'm a notary public. So when you look at my, well, if Deborah picked it up, you notice that one of the first things you see is what? free notarization included. Why? Because most documents have to be notarized. And guess what? My price is the same whether you need it or not.
Okay.
You're with me?
Mm-hmm.
That negates you trying to go to somebody else and then coming to me thinking you're going to get a cut price. No, my price is this. And if you need notarization, I will do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that sets me aside. Chris, did you have a question?
Well, I was for whatever reason I froze up and I missed I was trying to write it down and I missed exactly what you said.
Where did you free?
You were getting ready to, you were saying that you were gonna give us something in
Oh, the secret.
in this,
If you look at my website, this is going to hit you right away. When you look at that website, that's one of the first things that should have gotten your attention. Free notarization included. What you don't want to do, and this is what people were doing who were not notary publics. Here's what they were saying. Get your document notarized and come to us. Well, here's what happens. If somebody goes to get them notarized and that person does it, you've lost the sale.
Yeah.
You lost the sale. You want people, see, if you look at my website, what do you see? One what? What does it say? You got it up?
I
One
don't.
stop? Okay, it's one
Okay.
stop. You see
Mhm.
me, I don't want you to go any place. I don't want you to do anything. I want you to let me do it all for you.
Well, that makes
And
sense.
that's why another good thing is being a notary. Because 90% of what you're going to do is going to require notarization. Why not use that to your advantage? Have it built into your retail. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, did that bring you up, Chris? I'm sorry, you should be.
yes, you did, most definitely. Thank you very much.
Everything is
All
okay.
right. Well, it is 8:05. Thank you so much, John, for joining us and sharing your knowledge. Can you tell us how long the group rate thing extends to? That was a question in the chat.
Yeah,
Like, how long do we have to sign up?
Yeah, excuse me. Group rates are in place until we change them. The thing is, if you're going to do with the group rate, you have to have a facilitator who contacts me and gives me, because I have to send you a special link. There's no direct link on the website for that. Because I've tried that too, but people who were not groups, people are something else, who are not belonging to a group went to get a reduced price from somebody else who went through all the time and trouble to get a group of people. I just don't think that's right. So we had to start doing that. So the facilitator gives me the names and the email, and then we give you, if you sign up anytime within this week. But understand, if we give you one of the higher rates, okay, and your group comes in under that, you have to pay where your group is. You follow what I'm saying?
I understand. Yep.
Yep.
If I tell you it's going to be 16 people, but it ends up only being 3, then we got to pay whatever the rate would be.
3 rate.
Got it. All right. So everybody, I'll be the facilitator if you're interested in
and the way
signing
I
up.
do that.
Go ahead, John.
And if you look on the website, the recent graduates are there for every state. We that's one of the things we do. We say we will put you up there for free for 1 year. So it gives you an idea where the states are and where people are that are there. A lot of people didn't see that graduates page, but we have that there.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. I'm going to stop the recording because there's one other question I want to ask you off camera. So hold on.